In problem 1.1.30, we're told the linear function d of t is equal to 5 minus 3t. So I have d of t is equal to 5 minus 3t. Gives your distance d in miles. So d is equal to miles, and t is equal to the time. All right, so t hours after you leave the library. We want to sketch a graph of the function, write the domain and range and inequalities for d of t in this context. So in terms of the graph, it's not apparent right away, but I can actually rearrange this and say minus 3t plus 5. And what I notice is that this is in the form y equals mx plus b. And remember that b is my y-intercept, and m is my slope. So my y-intercept in this case would be 0, 5, and my slope would be negative 3, 1. So we can graph that. Use a straight line. First, I'm going to mark my y-intercept as 0, 5, and then I'm going to go down 3 and over 1. So down 3 points over 1, and then if I go down another 3 points and over 1, it's going to be the same point. So I can just leave that kind of as it is, and I can save that. So we'll check our answer. Good, we graphed it correctly. So the domain for dt in this context, now remember domain is our x values. So in this context, we're only looking from 0 because we're talking time. So let me write this over here. So my domain is going from 0, and they want this as an inequality using the variable t. And then what's the max amount of time we can look at? Well, the max amount of time is going to be our x-intercept. All right, that's going to be, looks like it's between 1 and 2, a little bit closer to 2. And to find the x-intercept, what I can do is I can set y to be 0. So I'm going to solve this equation for my y value being 0. So subtract 5 from each side. So negative 5 equals negative 3t. Divide both sides by negative 3. So 5/3 would be equal to t. So that's going to be my max. All right, 5 over 3. And again, when you're looking at your graph, you only really care about that top right quadrant because time's got to be positive. All right, and our distance has to be positive. So we're dealing with all positive numbers here. So I'm going to look at 0 is less than or equal to, just bear with me here for a second. I got to switch back and forth, which is less than or equal to. I'm going to write this as a fraction. And this fraction is going to be 5 over 3. Right, so we'll check that. Good. And now they want to know the range. Again, they're looking for the context of this problem. So my range, again, we want minimum and maximums. The lowest value my range can be, we only care about positive numbers. Range is, we're talking in terms of miles. So positive numbers, the lowest it's going to be is 0. It's going to be less than or equal to d, which is less than or equal to, what is the max we're going to have? Well, the highest y value that's still positive is going to be 5. So my range, again, you're looking at your graph, my y values go from 0 to 5. So we'll check our answer. Good. Continue right on. All right, find the x-intercept of the graph, select the correct choice below, and if necessary, fill in the answer box to complete your choice. Well, fortunately for us, we already found the x-intercept. All right, that's where we worked over here. All right, this is what we used to find our domain, but it also gave us our x-intercept, which is going to be this 5/3, 0. All right, remember x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. That's what we plugged in. So this is my x-intercept. So the x-intercept is, I'm going to write this as a coordinate point, so it's going to take me a second. Now we make that a fraction. What do we say? 5 or 3. Add the comma in 0, close our parentheses, and that should be good. All right. And then find the y-intercept of the graph, select the correct choice. Y-intercept is a lot easier. We already talked about that again. My y-intercept is this one up here when we rearranged our formula. So my y-intercept as a coordinate point would be x value of 0, y value of 5, close our parentheses, and check our answer. Okay. And then finally, explain the meaning of any intercepts in this context. So the x-intercept, all right, we're dealing with that, right? The domain that, I'm sorry, the time, that's the miles. Sorry, time. X values represent time. That's our domain. So the x-intercept means the distance. Well, that's definitely not A. The x-intercept is talking about time in hours. So the x-intercept part B means it takes how many hours to get home? Well, it's going to be 5/3 hours to get home. And then the y-intercept is the distance from the home to the library, and that's a total of 5 miles. So be careful with which one you're choosing. X-intercepts, we're talking about time there, so that's why it's in hours. And then the y-intercept is the distance in miles. So we'll check our answer, got that right, and we're all set for that problem.